Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the 10-star KIZUNA against Albert one more time, but in today's video, we're focusing on the one team versus alls. Now, I have a couple of different teams for you guys. The first team doesn't use any of the new batch, literally nothing since, like, New Year's. Like, nothing at all. So, no Luffy Yamatos, no Sanjis, no Zoros, no new rare recruits, no Alberts, nothing like that. But then the other three teams after it are going to be a combination of different variations of, like, having the rare recruits, having the legends, all that kind of stuff, because I know a lot of people did summons on these particular banners. Most people seem to have dove into Luffy Yamato, and rightfully so. They're so good for every piece of content in the anniversary period. So if you did pick them up, be very, very happy. Stuff like Odin Toki's very, very good. But if you got Zoro and Albert as well, they're going to help you out quite a bit. Now, this is the infographic for the 10-star event. And it has all the information over on the OPTC Twitter. So make sure to hit him with a follow. Link in the description as always. And while you're down there, belt the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button. Do all that good stuff. We post OPTC content every single day. And it helps your boy out. And I do greatly appreciate it. So, take a look at the 10-star. The idea when you are building a one team versus all for this particular fight is you want to bring free spirits of the Dex and the quick variation. That's all the characters going to get cooldowns. There are a bunch of characters that do get boosted for this event as well. They will also help. But the first team that I have for you guys looks a little bit like this. Now, I'm not going to like break down every single stage. I have done Marco teams and I've done other teams as well for you guys. You can go check them out or just go back and pause the video when you get to it. But we are going to chop and change back to this particular screen right here to actually break it down. Now, everyone on this team is a free spirit or a Dex or a quick unit besides Nami. And the reason Nami works so well is because Nami has the ability to give herself cooldowns when you get paralyzed. Now, every single stage has paralysis. It's like 5 turns of paralysis. You get cooldowns from the ship, and we will be bringing a friend Captain Zoro for every single one of these. So Zoro also gives 1 turn of cooldown. We also have the support of Mr. 3, so that's going to give us 2 turns of cooldowns. And the new Lin, the free-to-play character, gives us 1 turn of cooldown here as well. So the idea of this team is we get to spare removal with Yamato, and then on stage 2, we're always going to be popping Sabo and Ace. Sabo and Ace is going to take care of stage 2 for every single fight. They remove 5 turns of special bind. They remove the bind on the top row, so make sure they're in the middle somewhere. It's going to be 5 turns after sockets, and then they also remove the despair and the block orbs. They also change like matching orbs with their switch ability, which is really, really cool. So that way you can get around the unfavorable orbs, and you can get around some of these recovery orbs as well. If you want to as well, for like being smarter, you can do this. So that way you switch with Kinemon Denjiro, so that way that you get another matching orb. But it's not going to matter too much because we're actually going to be using the Verse Yamato special after that. Verse Yamato is going to give us an attack boost, and she's going to give us 1 orbs on the left side and tandem orbs on the right-hand side. The reason that's so viable is because when you tap with Zoro, just in his regular form, he turns recovery and tandem orbs into into Wano. And I don't think it's like type advantage. You need type advantage. However, in the second form, you do need type advantage. Now, the idea of this is to try and get a Wano orb on every single one of our characters, basically, for the Psy variation. And the reason that is because the Psy variation has a Wano orb, like barrier, as well as super block slots. Not sure how this works in terms of like the paralysis and all that, those shenanigans and all those bypassingness. But for the meantime, this is pretty much what it's like, what the team's going to look like until we get that information. And obviously, I'll do updated like videos and stuff like that once that comes around as well. But to get around some defense up and be our orb booster, we have Kinemon Denjiro, Izo, and Kiku can get around 2 turns of paralysis, and then Karasu can get around another turn of paralysis on top of Nami's Sailor ability. So that's 6 turns all up for the strength variation and the Psy variation. In the early stages, it's only going to be 5, so like it's not a big deal. But Karasu does proc on bind as well. So lucky for us, there's no paralysis on this middle fight. So that's always nice. And with that, Nami should have her cooldowns ready to go. Thanks to the Mr. 3 support. She removes the resilience, which is awesome. She also gives us a chain boost. Lim is giving us cooldowns. She's also giving us chain boundary because I can't remember why she gives us chain boundary. She has like a condition where, yeah, you need damage reduction, which is what the Mr. 3 support also helps out with. So then she's actually going to give cooldown and chain boundary. Zoro's our attack booster, and he's a conditional booster as well, which is awesome. So we want to make sure we use Zoro before we use Nami. This team just has a lot going for it. Like, a lot going for it. if the enemy runs away on stage 2, and they don't do anything, we could probably look at replacing Kinemon Dendro with another defense up remover. You could easily just slap Sanji on this particular team with a paralysis removing support. Definitely viable, definitely something you could use. I'm just not 100% sure which support would do that for you. But I'm sure there is a support out there that could definitely work. And that way you could just use Sanji to remove the defense up as well. And that way you actually get access to the rush ability. With this team, we don't have access to stuff like Super Tandem. Well, we do with Nami and Yamato. But you do need them quite high level to get that. Or you could use Zoro, who's another Super Tandem character. But again, you need a very high level there. Because Zoro will actually turn all of the Wano slots into tandem slots, and that's going to help us get through the tandem barrier, and we're not going to have to worry about it on the final stage. So you just want to have everyone with Wano slots if you can, and then you can actually turn them across. So that is the one team versus all without any of the new characters. It does work fairly nicely, and I imagine it will work fairly nicely, but like I said with all these videos, these teams are subject to change. Now, if you guys have every single one of the new characters, if you did a lot of summons, and you have the full KIZUNA batch, your team could look something like this. Now, with Brook and Frankie, they literally cover everything that you need to worry about on the final stage. They do the paralysis, they do despair, they set defense to 0, they give you 2 turns of color affinity, they give you 3 turns of a chain boost for the intimidation. You basically covered for everything. The only stuff you have to worry about is stage 2, where you get despaired, special blinded, and binded. So that's basically all you have to worry about. Plus you get block orbs, recovery orbs, or unfavorable slots. That's what you really have to focus on, and that's what you have to worry about. Now, we are bringing a friend captain Zoro for this team. Zoro gives higher tickets and all that shenanigans, but Zoro and Albert aren't actually super effective against all types. Frankie and Brook, they are. So they're hitting really, really hard. And for this team, the way it operates is when we get the unfavorable slots or the recovery slots, we can basically use Zoro to turn the recovery slots into Wano slots. But also on turn 1, when you are tapping with Zoro, you can actually turn orbs into Wano as well. So to get around the special one, we have Albert, and then we have the supports of Pedro, Ulti, and Rayleigh to get around the Despair. Plus, with our captain being Luffy Yamato, we get around Bind there, so that works out quite nicely. Frankie sets defense to 0, so using the Perona support on our Zoro is going to give us a conditional boost as well. However, with Zoro actually gives you a conditional boost to additional damage taken. So now that I'm looking at this, I might just, we might do that. We might do that for now. That support might change. I just remember that Zoro is actually a conditional booster, and him as a captain, he's actually going to give us, in the final form of Enma. You know what? I don't even know if we're going to get to that final form of Enma, so I'm going to put Perona there just in case. The downside to Zoro with KIZUNA is they don't charge captain actions. So you do need 10 Wano orbs to actually get there, which is very, very finicky to do. It's not impossible, don't get me wrong, not by all means, but it's still very, very finicky. The block orbs we're hopefully going to take care of with having a slot on Albert. So you want to actually make sure you have a Wano orb on Albert, and then use Albert's special to rotate them all into whatever orb he has, which actually goes through block orbs. And that way you should be taking care of stage 2 fairly nicely. With all that said, this team should be fine. I don't really know how well it's going to go long term, but it should be pretty good moving forward. It's just so weird having Albert on the team, where Albert doesn't actually get boosted under our 2 captains. However, if you guys did some summons for the Legends and you didn't pick up the rare recruits, you got pretty unlucky in Brook and Frankie. I have a team with all Anniversary Legends that should work out pretty nicely. To get around Paralysis and Despair, we're using Odin and Toki now. With the Dendro support, they get around the Resilience because you can use end of turn damage. And then we have Sanji to get around the defense up. Sanji has the Germa support, so you get orbs. On turn 2, you want to pop your Zoro special to remove the Despair with Valentine's Nami. And that way you've got Rayleigh and Ulti once again. Friend Captain Zoro is going to take care of that. And then just use Albert to remove the special blind. With this team, it's not as going to get you nearly as many points, but it literally takes care of everything pretty nicely. And is another option for you guys if you got very unlucky and you missed out on both Frankie and Brook. Now, Frankie and Brook are so good for this fight because they just cover you for the final stages. However, I do know a lot of people did miss out on them, or a lot of people sort of just went for Zoro because Zoro's such a Giga Chad, and everybody loves Zoro in the series. So this particular team doesn't use any of Albert or the batch, but we are going to talk about them for a second because the Rare Recruit Lore is a really good replacement if you guys don't have the Brook. If you don't have the Brook, this particular lore can remove resilience, but you will need to remove more resilience somehow. And an idea around that is you can either use the Kyoshiro support on Zoro, or you can use this Sanji support. This Sanji will actually remove 1 turn. The combination of the two, you're going to get enough turns of it. Remember, with Zoro and Luffy Yamato as your captain, you're getting 6 turns of cooldown. Like, massive amount of cooldowns, plus Luffy Yamato also give cooldowns. So, Lore's just going to be ready to go by the final stage. For the defense up, a good alternative is Kinemon Dendro. They're absolutely amazing at removing defense up. They can also be an ore booster. They give you base stats to your free spirit characters, and they work out exceptionally well. And these 2 units can actually work fine. Now, if you have the Frankie, I would highly recommend just slapping Frankie on the team here. Like, you just easily put this particular Frankie right there. Like, where is he? Where are you, Frankster? You're this one. No, not that one. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm checking. Don't judge me in the comment section below. This Frankie here will basically cover you for what the Kinemon Dendro does. So you can just put Frankie on this team if you guys have Frankie. Like, if you guys have Frankie, just go for gold. Like, you're absolutely fine here. He also removes the paralysis, so like you don't have to worry about the support that was on Kinemon Dendro. That works out really, really hunky-dory. However, if you guys have the Brook, you can easily bring Brook into this team here. You just slap Brookie boy. Where are you, Brook? I forgot what color you are. What color are you? Probably looking at you. There you are. This Brook covers you for everything that the lore does. He removes Despair by 6 turns, and he also removes Resilience by 6 turns, so that works out quite nicely. I have a feeling, actually, now I'm looking at this, I don't have enough turns of Despair. Yeah, I don't think I have enough turns of Despair here. I don't. I have to use the Morley support, this one here. I forgot about this. The Morley support on... what's this called? What's his face? Oh my god, what's that? Oh, did I have Corazon? Did I have Corazon on lore? I can't remember. No, I didn't. I didn't at all. I actually didn't at all. I'm actually such a spoon. Well, the Morley support works out great because he actually removes Despair. The Despair is on stage... Oh, it's actually going to trigger. No, you don't need it here. Yeah, the Despair is on stage... Where is it? Over here. On the Strength variation. So that Despair is going to work nicely. But a Sabo are just such a fantastic replacement if you guys don't have Albert. So if you don't have Albert, but you have a Sabo, you just slap a Sabo on the team, and if you can pass the turn, you can use them to both remove the Despair, the Special Bind. They also remove the Bind as well. So if you're actually missing Luffy Yamato, and you're using a different character, and you have a Sabo, just slap them on your team, because they're just going to cover you for everything. They can use the Morley support for Despair, they can use the Karasu support for Paralysis. They're very, very good. As for Zoro on this team, Zoro is completely replaceable with anyone that can give you some sort of resilience. But if you have Brook, you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, if you have Brook and you're using if you don't have Brook and you're using this lore though, you will need to find a way to remove resilience. So you could easily just bring the other Zoro, Ashura Doji, this one right here with the Kyoshiro support. He's definitely going to be another option to remove more resilience and also remove some defense up as well. If you guys have Sanji, you could easily use Sanji on this team as well. This particular Sanji right here, he also removes defense up, which is a lot of fun. I don't think he has a paralysis removing support, if I remember correctly. I think he has Nami, this one right here, but that's pretty much it. Actually, that works. Yeah, you could actually use Nami. So you could do something like this. The list goes on and on and on if you have Luffy and Yamato. Luffy and Yamato just make this fight so much easier, and they make these one team versus alls very, very nice. They also have block or manipulation with Brule, but if you're using Sanji, you can replace that as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway, and hopefully it helped you guys out if you guys were building some teams for this particular 10-star. These are the one team versus alls. I will post them on the Discord, but if you need to, just go back and pause the video at any time, and that way you guys can check them out. But if I bring up my crew log here, actually, you guys can suss them out. Actually, what we'll do is we'll save this one to the crew log, and then we'll go view/delete Chris here. And we'll wrap up the video. So if you enjoyed the video, bump the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. If you are new to the channel, or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Later!